Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead. I'm doing a water chat and comments. I'm answering some comments and stuff. I just haven't had a lot of time to sit down and type out answers for individual comments. So first and foremost, everybody's been asking how Clover's doing. Clover is still not up on her feet. She is due to deliver her babies or baby, if they are still alive, in a week. That's her approximate due date, give or take a couple of days. If she does not get back up on her feet by Monday or Tuesday next week, which would be the 10th or 11th of March, then we have to consider having the vet come in and inducing labor to save the babies, if the babies are alive. If the vet comes and she listens to Clover's babies with the stethoscope and finds, or they're not moving or finds no heartbeats, and Clover's not back on her feet, then Clover will be humanely dispatched and cremated. I really hope it doesn't come to that. If by Monday or Tuesday she's not back on her feet and the babies are alive or the kids are alive, I'm going to ask the vet to induce her, and that may or may not kill Clover. We still don't know what's wrong with her. If she doesn't get back up on her feet, we will induce and we will put Clover down, which means I will have newborn kids in my house for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Now, someone else asked me, and they will be bottle fed, and someone else asked me, if we deliver the kids and Clover doesn't make it or has to be put down, how do we look after the babies? It's simple. It's called bottle feeding, okay? And what we will do is what I did last year when Blossom delivered one kid and it died in a cold because it was 40 below. I actually milked a couple of cups over the next 2 days out of Blossom and froze them. That is colostrum. The first week, the first few days of a doe's milking time after delivery is pure colostrum. It's thick, it's sticky, it's almost like syrup, and it can be frozen and saved. So I do have colostrum in my freezer. Do I have enough for a couple of days? No. Do not make the mistake that I made when we first bought day-old bucklings, Sven and Oli and the other one that died. And I put them on milk replacer right away. And that's not enough. That's not enough. They have to have colostrum. Colostrum has the antibodies that passes from mom to kid. You can buy colostrum replacer, but every year when your doe's kid, please, yes, let the babies have the colostrum, but try and milk some and put it in the freezer in case you have an emergency where a doe dies and you have babies that don't have a mom. Okay, so that's what I got. I got colostrum in the freezer. If the kids are going to be safely delivered, then I have enough colostrum to do them. Then we can buy some colostrum replacer, and after that buy some milk replacer. But colostrum is really important. So that's what we plan on doing if if Clover doesn't pull through, but we end up with kids. And I'm really hoping that Clover pulls through and is safely delivered of her babies and can look after them. But I mean, you always have to have a plan B. Somebody asked me about the expiry date on baking powder, homemade baking powder. I did a homemade baking powder video a while back, and I actually used cornstarch. I no longer use cornstarch. As far as I'm concerned, it's genetically modified and processed corn, and I won't use it. Well, no, that's not true. I will use it. On a hot day when I get out of the shower and I want to powder myself, nice and soft, I don't use baby powder or talcum powder. I actually use cornstarch. So what's cornstarch good for? Powdering babies' bums. But, now you can use arrowroot powder, you can use potato starch, tapioca starch. But when you're making your baking powder, as long as it is sealed in a jar and kept in a cool, dark place, I'm pretty sure that's indefinite. The expiry date on that's pretty indefinite. Someone made a comment on my canning potatoes video today that said, well, that they boil bath their potatoes and they've never had a problem. That's a really broad spectrum statement to make without explaining how you keep yourself safe. Listen to me very carefully, folks. Whether or not you do something that is not recommended and it turns out fine, for instance, canning meatloaf, canning hamburger without cooking it first, canning anything with flour or wheat in it, canning low acid vegetables, okay? Whether or not you do it to the way it's recommended is up to you. But don't, and even if you've done it that way for years and no one's ever gotten sick, it doesn't make it safe, okay? Please, 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 folks, don't take my word for it. Do your research. Go to an All-American Canner website or a Presto or a Miro canner, pressure canner website, and look it up, and they'll tell you why. I'm not going to continue to say over and over again, don't can meatloaf, don't can meatballs with breadcrumbs, don't can gravy with flour in it, okay? Don't take my word for it. Do the research, okay? Because if you can a low-acid vegetable, and it turns out this woman who cans her potatoes in the boil bath canner puts lemon juice in her water and did not say that right off the bat, okay? It doesn't matter what you do. Canning a low-acid vegetable without pressure canning it is dangerous. Unless you are pickling it, okay? That's lots of vinegar and lots of salt in the water, okay? That's the only way you can acidify your vegetables enough to make them safe if you're not pressure canning them. And someone else asked me about oven canning sugar, and I've had this question often enough that I am going to address it. There is absolutely no reason to can sugar. Sugar in itself is a preservative. As long as, if you get a 100-pound bag of sugar, okay, oh, and by the way, pretty much all white sugar has multiple strikes against it. A, most white sugar, almost all white sugar today is processed. B, almost all white sugar today is genetically modified beet sugar. So personally, I like raw cane sugar, and it can be adapted. Your recipes can be adapted to use that in almost any situation. Oven canning sugar is not necessary. If the receptacle that you put your sugar in is A, dry, B, full, and C, has a tight fitting lid, there's absolutely no moisture going to get in there. No bugs are going to get in there. There's no reason to can it other than to put it into a jar. All right? This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead with a comments and updates. Take care. Bye-bye. You didn't think I'd forget my kiss, did you? Bye-bye.